Harper's Bible Dictionary. Son of Man. A term with a variety of meanings in the Bible. In the Old Testament, Son of Man is an idiomatic way of speaking of a human being, or of humanity collectively. In the Psalms, chapter 8 verse 4, chapter 80 verse 17, Son of Man, Hebrew Ben Adam, is used in synonymous parallelism with human being. In Ezekiel, the prophet is addressed by God or by an angelic messenger as Son of Man, New Revised Standard Version, mortal. For example, chapter 2 verse 1, 6, suggesting the prophet's weakness and finitude as contrasted with the divine majesty. In Daniel chapter 7 verse 13, the Aramaic equivalent, New Revised Standard Version, one like a human being, is used as a symbol for the faithful people of God contrasted with other kingdoms symbolized by animals. Some scholars identify Son of Man here with an angelic figure who, however, is related to the people of God. In intertestamental Judaism, this image was developed into an apocalyptic messianic figure. 1 Enoch chapter 37-91. The agent of divine judgment and salvation. It is disputed whether this development had already occurred before the time of Jesus and Christian origins. A similar development is found in 4 Ezra, 2 Esdras, chapter 13, a document dating from the end of the 1st century AD. In the New Testament, the usage of the term, Son of Man, is at first sight simple enough. With one exception, Acts chapter 7 verse 56, and apart from the citation of Psalm chapter 8 verse 4 in Hebrews chapter 2 verse 6 and an allusion to Daniel chapter 7 verse 13 in Revelation chapter 1 verse 13, the term is used exclusively by the pre-Easter Jesus in reference to himself. In John, Son of Man, as a self-referent of Jesus has a more varied usage, the most characteristic being those sayings that speak of the exaltation of the Son of Man, an expression that makes a double allusion to the cross and resurrection. Ascension. John chapter 3 verse 14, chapter 8 verse 28, chapter 12 verse 34. The difficulties begin when one asks about the origin of the term. Is it authentic to Jesus? If so, in what sense did he use it? Is it a post-Easter Christological title retrojected upon the pre-Easter Jesus? Regarding the term's origin, it is widely held, especially among German scholars, that Son of Man was a title already current in pre-Christian Jewish apocalyptic writings, Daniel 7 verse 13, similitudes of Enoch. On the other hand, it has been argued by some, especially British scholars, that there was no pre-Christian, apocalyptic title, Son of Man, and so no light is cast by such sources on the way Jesus used that phrase. Jesus must have used Son of Man merely as a self-designation, perhaps as a self-effacing way of referring to himself simply as a human being. Cf. Psalm chapter 8 verse 4. This usage could account for both the present and the suffering references. Sometimes, in this view, the future sayings are explained as post-Easter developments under the influence of Daniel 7 verse 13. A variant of this view, popular among some American scholars, is that Jesus used it in authentic sayings not as a self-referent, but in a generic sense. Mark chapter 2 verse 28 is susceptible to this interpretation. All other, titular, Son of Man, sayings are in this view post-Easter creations. Those who accept the view that there was in pre-Christian Jewish apocalyptic a concept of Son of Man sometimes argue that Jesus used it in reference to a transcendental figure distinct from himself. See especially Mark chapter 8 verse 38, Luke chapter 12 verse 8, q. where Jesus appears to distinguish between himself and the coming of the Son of Man. This coming Son of Man will vindicate Jesus' present offer of final salvation. After Easter, with the rise of an explicit Christological faith in Jesus, his followers then saw in him his own vindicator. Thus they were able to identify him with the apocalyptic Son of Man. As this survey indicates, there is at present no unanimity among scholars as to the origin or the exact meaning of Son of Man.